accidents are terrifying experiences. You're hurt, and you need someone on your side who understands. Call the Advocates. They have over 20 years experience with accident cases and have recovered settlements for hundreds of other motorcyclists. They can handle the medical bills and deal with the insurance company so you can focus on recovering and getting back on your bike. The Advocates are my motorcycle attorneys.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show. Live on your YouTube machine. First day ever doing the show. You know, I'll just play whatever closing music to open the show I feel like, sir. As always, we're presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Couple of interesting injury cases today we're going to talk about. Dude suing Disney because his wife died of a food allergy, and Matthew Perry is dead over ketamine. Telling you, strange things happen in the world. If you've been injured, if you need assistance, if you got hurt at work yesterday, today, tomorrow, the Advocates, awesome people to do business with. Good folks. I've known Matt Driggs and the guys at the Advocates for over a decade. Hook it up online where you can chat with an injury attorney for free. It won't cost you a dime, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Good Friday to you, the Odd Friday show. Jake had a bug up his ass. He said today that he needed to, espouse some things on the show today. Is there anything you want to...
the power's on today, so, we had to do a show today.
It is odd because really next Friday's the only other... This is the last week without football. You guys understand that, right? It is the 16th of August. And, I mean, really, if you start looking at dates... 2 weeks from today, we really get going in earnest. So it is it's go time. And I am ready for games. I am ready for big games. I am ready to...
Are we ready to experience the Big Ten and to experience a season without the Pac-12?
But here comes Saturday night. I mean, it's one of those things that we all know about.
Right.
I cannot wait for that Ohio State Oregon game. I love big football games. I do. I think you look at the situation with Ohio State naming the sex machine their starting quarterback this week. Everything is falling in line. Everything is falling in line for Ohio State. If Lloyd Carr incarnate doesn't screw it up, I think Ohio State wins a national championship. Because you look at the schedule that Georgia's got, I don't see any way that Georgia makes the college football playoff unless they are truly elite. With that schedule, I think, and I should pull it out,
Macaque.
Thank you. I was going to say, where's the juvenile football drop? If you look at, thank you. Okay, we get it. If you look at Georgia's football schedule this year, I mean, have you guys looked at? Do people realize their schedule? Their schedule is Clemson.
Well, I know Clemson's the national power now, so
Tennessee Tech, and then at Kentucky, at Alabama. Auburn, Mississippi State, at Texas, Florida, at Ole Miss, Tennessee. And then they close with Mass and Georgia Tech. Georgia's got an incredibly difficult schedule.
It's set up to make or break you, meaning, hey, you've got one of the strongest schedules in college football. So if you somehow find a way to get through that schedule with one or potentially two losses, the last 2 weeks of the year are basically off weeks for you. I mean, you should crack open a beer and you should enjoy the last 2 weeks of the season and, head into the college football playoff. But I have to say, that's a difficult schedule. And that's the advantage you have when you play in the SEC.
Here's Alabama's schedule with, I think, the eventual Heisman Trophy winner, all things being equal. That'd be Jalen Milroe. You're welcome. Western Kentucky, South Florida, Wisco. Now, that game's at Camp Randall, but I don't think anybody's really worried about Wisconsin versus Alabama. And then the game that I think we all are. Now, Jake, I still understand that you don't do it 21 times a month, but the game where we will do it 21 times in that day.
It really hit me.
Is Georgia at Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Clash of the Titans. I think it's going to be amazing. And I think Bama starts the season 6-0 after beating Vandy in South Carolina. I think their first loss comes Rocky Top, Tennessee on October 19th, and then they don't lose again. Missouri at LSU, Mercer at Oklahoma. Nobody likes Oklahoma.
Right.
And Auburn.
Yeah. I mean, to not see Texas is huge if you're Bama.
But Texas has got to find a running back now.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, in blue, it is what it is, but I cannot wait.
Certainly Bama's got an easier schedule than Georgia. Certainly. I mean, you
not by much, but you look at Ohio State is, I'm not sure Ohio State's going to give up a touchdown until October 12th. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. Yeah, hell of a schedule there, Coach.
Man, wow.
At Michigan State, Iowa, at Oregon, October 12th. I'm seriously thinking, who wants to roadie it to Autzen? I'm ready. I'll go by myself. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see that Notre Dame suspended their swim team for a year over gambling allegations?
The great gambler got to him,
I'm ready for a roadie to Autzen. Ohio State at Oregon. And Will Howard, goddamn, boy, time to prove that you're Will Howard.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
Nebraska at Pedo State. Happy Ending Valley is going to be lit. Purdue at Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan. I think that's a one-loss schedule.
At most.
And I want the Oregon game.
Yeah.
I want it. I want the Oregon Ducks.
The Oregon Ohio State game is what we deserve as college football fans.
Absolutely.
It just is the best of the best.
I don't and we can sit here and we can, oh, Monty, look at week 1 and Florida State, Georgia Tech. Okay.
Man, wow, I'm just scintillated by that.
I'm swole below. I'm not excited about North Carolina at Minnesota on Thursday, August 29th. I mean,
stay hard.
Who's not ready for that? That the vaunted Temple Owls at Oklahoma. God, I hope Oklahoma does. I hope Oklahoma never wins another game.
Bro.
There are few programs. And listen, I'm not a fan of Mike Gundy on this show. Congratulations, Sooner fan. You managed to be a complete cock. And so,
I'm a man.
I hope Oklahoma, I hope Venables loses to Temple.
Because it's garbage.
Just.
And kick a person when he's down.
Crap yourself. And then, obviously, Saturday, August 31st, Clemson at Georgia, 10 a.m., ABC. Let's go.
Yeah, just Georgia, not Clemson.
Pedo State at West Virginia. Stick that coal where the sun don't shine. I'm ready for it. Does Okie Light lose to South Dakota State?
No way.
Do you know anything about South Dakota State?
Nope.
Never heard of them, brah. One of the best not P4 teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
South Dakota State. I think that's going to be a game of note. I feel very bad for Akron.
Why? Braun's not playing for him?
I think there's a chance, quite literally, one of their players or like half their team leaves without testicles after they go to the shoe. So I would be let's just say I don't think there's going to be any generational scholarship. Never mind. I think Colorado State at Texas, like there's just games. I'm ready for the Miami Hurricanes to lose at Florida and then go away.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about, Miami's going to be 11-1, man. They're a national championship power. Okay. Yeah, before you start saying you're going to win a national championship, maybe you could show us that you can go out and be a 9-win team, an 8-win team.
What do you think happens on this show on September 2nd after Marcus Freeman gets boat raced at A&M? Like, how do you think the level of quality, like, what do you think
Notre Dame, our mother.
The emotional ebb and flow on this show will be when Marcus Freeman does not win a game this year?
Well, you're going to tell everybody you told them so, and that even though you are a Notre Dame fan, you're happy that Marcus Freeman's terrible because you want to move on from him.
I mean, And then we get SC at LSU on Sunday, September 1st in Las Vegas, and everything is right in the world. Everything is right in the world, and I am excited about it.
Yeah,
I'm ready for football. I am ready to chip and putt while watching football with the Traeger blasting away in my backyard. I'm ready for it. I'm fired up, and it's high time. This feels like a really long summer to me.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but
I felt like the Olympics helped a little bit, but I do agree that it's dragging right now for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. As a Notre Dame fan, my joy will be short-lived or unalived very quickly because I'm telling you, and I take a lot of heat on the old tweet, comment section on YouTube over Notre Dame, and it's all justified. Notre Dame is not going to be good this year. They're not. I think we all know. And if you look at Notre Dame's schedule, honestly, I would never exaggerate. You guys know that. I'm keeping it real.
Right.
The fact that Marcus Freeman conned a bunch of bros and they're number 7 in the country.
So don't even think about messing with me.
If they're not out of the top 25 when they lose to A&M, and you look at their schedule, I mean, is this not you're independent. I totally understand that. Notre Dame's schedule is embarrassing.
Marty, they've
A&M,
got,
Texas A&M at Northern Illinois, home for Northern Illinois. They're the Huskies. At Purdue, fuck Purdue. Nobody cares about Purdue. Nobody. Oh, Joe Teller. Miami of Ohio. I'll remind you, that game's September 21st. That when I should be golfing with Smiley Kaufman, I'm not.
Bruh.
Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech. We don't go on the road anymore. Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, and at USC.
Should be in the college football playoff.
Do they win any of those games?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I could be wrong. I don't think that's true. I'm actually looking forward to the Florida State game.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
If we...
Well, because you're on the team, obviously.
If we beat Texas A&M, we won't. That could be a hell of a football game. Yeah. The ghost of Gumby. But Marty, all Big Ten teams are football powerhouses, especially of the perennial power of Purdue. Listen, Marty, let me tell you something about Purdue. They're the Boilers. You better boiler up, sir.
Hey, look here, man.
Sir. Fuck Purdue. West
Don't
Lafayette.
talk crap about my team.
Do you understand the volume of weed killer that is laid down on the ground in West Lafayette?
Bro.
And the damage it has done to their DNA, which is why they suck at all sports.
Think that's HIPAA?
Ooh, Purdue's got basketball. Boiler up, bro. Whoop, whoop. Fuck off. Like, just shut up. I hate Purdue. It is in my DNA. Like I hate the LA Dodgers. I fucking hate the Packers, and Purdue should not exist.
But Marty, Purdue's basketball team.
Oh, Matt Painter. Huh? Please. Okay, I feel better. Should have just stayed in bed today. I'm warning you now.
Don't be an idiot in the comments section today, because if you are, you're going to get that ass run, man. It's not going to be good for you.
All I'm saying is
it's not the best situation, and we all know that.
Who do you guys think is in the comments section right now? Who is the best team in the country? If you had to pick one today, who is the best team in the country? I'm probably going with
Yeah.
I think it's Ohio State, and I think
we need to be careful with Georgia, because the one thing you know about Georgia is they're always super physical, and that's been Ohio State's weakness.
Well, and they drive really fast,
Yeah.
so they get to the game on time.
Right.
But my point is, I think Georgia's very talented. You don't win with that schedule. Like one of the things and I guess we're talking about it now. The parity in the Big 12. If you look at the Utah schedule, look at the Utah Utes, the best team. Thank you. I'd like to thank Oklahoma State fan for losing their minds yesterday.
What, Marty?
I'm tired of the disrespect for Mike Gundy on this show.
Catch me outside. How about that?
But yet again, you can't point to me how I'm wrong about Mike Gundy.
So get your facts straight.
Anyway, the greatness that is Utah football. Southern Utah, good luck. Baylor at Utah State, at Oak State, September 21st, when I should be golfing with Smiley Kaufman.
Right.
I'm not because, yeah. Do they go to Stillwater and beat Mike Gundy?
Yes, I do think they do.
Oh, but Marty, that Oak State defense.
I think that Utah's defense will turn Bowman over. I think that I think that Alan Bowman hasn't seen a defense of the Utes caliber, in all honesty.
Well, he did. Texas. How'd that work out? Oh, Marty, how'd that work out?
Yeah, I mean, Texas defense is good. I think schematically, the trickery that Utah's defense pulls on quarterbacks on a regular basis is pretty much second to none. The ability to disguise, and then be disciplined within what you're trying to do as a defense is crazy at Utah. So to me, I think the only way for any team, the only way you go to Stillwater and win is you have to have defense. And
how big is that game? How big is Utah at Oklahoma State? How significant?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely one of the games of the year in the Big 12, certainly. And I think that, the situation for Oklahoma State is clear. Kansas is good. K-State's good. And you got to win this game if you're Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think the Oklahoma State model is you cannot allow Alan Bowman to be your best offensive player.
Yeah.
And if we learned anything from that Texas game last year when Ollie Gordon struggles, this team is not good. And I think you look at in be 100% level, my honest to God opinion, Alan Bowman's an average ass quarterback.
Yeah.
What makes that team go is, Ollie, Ollie Gordon.
I'm a man.
Ollie Gordon. If James is not here, I am wasting all of this. But if Ollie Gordon doesn't go for 100 yards, they don't win games.
But he's not going to go for 100 yards against Utah. You're not doing that against.
We're going to find out.
And I think that the thing with the Texas game was it wasn't that Ollie was just garbage in that game. He had nowhere to go. Your offensive line got dominated in that game for large stretches. So you were not, you weren't going to be able to, get outside on Texas's defense. You were not doing that. And Ollie Gordon is incredibly athletic. You get him in space, you get him one-on-one, he's going to put up for you. But again, teams like Texas or teams like Utah who have prolific defenses, They understand they can't allow you to get outside. So what are they going to do? They're going to set the edge on the defensive line. They're going to force you back inside, and they're going to feed you to their linebackers. And that's where I say, hey, if you're an Oklahoma State fan, this isn't really even about Alan Bowman. It is if he turns it over, but what it's about is your offensive line and whether they're able to do what you need them to do.
Jesus, Utah only gave up 19 points a game last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's against 19 points a game last year in a Pac-12 that you're talking about Caleb Williams. You're talking about Bo Nix. You're talking about Michael Penix. You're talking about top quarterback, NFL caliber talent in the Pac-12, 19 points a game. And you want me to believe that Alan Bowman against this defense on his field is going to just shred them up? I don't buy that for a second. Not even close.
Yeah, I am very interested to see. It's on the road. It's in Stillwater. It is. See, I didn't say Stillwater. I almost did, but I saved it. I said Stillwater, not Stillwater. But my point is in Stillwater, Aqua in Aquapana. I think you're looking at a situation where anything's possible. But I'll just continue to say, I think you cannot have Alan Bowman be the feature piece of your offense and expect to win.
Yeah.
Because Alan Bowman's only as good as Ollie Gordon is. Because without Ollie Gordon having a big game, Alan Bowman is not going to have time and space. He's not.
Facts.
As simple as this. But is parity good for the Big 12? I'm here to tell you I don't think it is. I think parity is very bad. And again, I look at Oak State's schedule. Scheduling South Dakota State to open the season is stupid. It's not smart. Arkansas at Tulsa, Jetta at K-State, West Virginia. That 3-game stretch right there. And really, hell, get crazy. The first 6 games of the season, there's potentially 4 losses there. You're not losing to Tulsa.
No,
you're not. You're not, in my opinion, probably losing to South Dakota State. Arkansas is a wild card, and I think Utah, K-State, and West Virginia all have the opportunity to beat that ass.
And I think
now the good news is 2 of those 3, Utah and West Virginia, are at Boone Pickens, so that's huge.
But I don't think as an Oklahoma State fan, you can just look past the BYU game. And I'm not saying that BYU is better than you. What I'm saying
but
is
Jerry Bohannon is, my God.
And by the way, all the jagoffs in the comments slurping Jerry Bohannon. My God, dude, get over yourself.
Hey, Monty, Jerry Bohannon.
Holy crap, dude. But I the reason I say that Mike Gundy and company need to be careful with that BYU game is because it's at night and it's at Lavelle.
But it's in a stretch.
And yeah, it's in a stretch where you're playing some difficult opponents.
And I'm here for it. I'm tired of all of the talk from Oak State fans. I'm tired of hearing about how great Oak State is. You will hear me do a mea culpa on Mike. No, you won't. Never. I hate Mike Gundy. That's not happening. I will give respect to Oklahoma State football. You get through this in 1 loss with the road schedule alone. At Tulsa, at K-State, at BYU, at Baylor, at TCU, at Colorado. Those are 3 losses.
Yeah.
Then the home schedule: South Dakota State, Arkansas, Jetta, West Virginia, Arizona State, who honest to God, I think Arizona State is going to be a tough out every single week. And Texas Tech. Another coach I question. I like Joey McGuire. I do. I was asked the other day in the comment section if I respect Joey McGuire. I do. But respect is earned daily. And he's got to win football games this year. But I'm warning you, in this conference, in this flyover conference that's got a bunch of truck stops and lot lizards, I'm warning you right now.
Marty, did you see the pilot sponsorship that just rolled out this week? Isn't it incredible?
You better not do a Kliavkov and send USC to the Palouse to die.
back of the envelope calculations?
Because I think it was on one of the blog sites. One of the blog sites had Colorado is going to be in 10 one-score games.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Heartland that had that?
Yeah.
Heartland College Sports had it at 10 one-score games for Colorado.
Yeah.
Which 9 for West Virginia, 8 for TCU. That's not good for the conference.
Well, it's not good for the conference, but I also think it means that there's just massive unknown in this conference about who's going to be good and who's not, generally speaking. Like I said, that the top 4 are going to be really good. Both Kansas schools, Oklahoma State and Utah are all going to be really good. They're all going to contend for the conference. But when I saw that article and it says Colorado is going to be in 10 one-score games, do you understand that to win a one-score game, you're talking about a play here or there that can win or lose you the ball game? You're talking about a fumble. You're talking about getting an extra yard here.
No.
Like,
it's a freshman running on a 3rd and 7, running a 5-yard out. It's a guy missing a tackle, losing form at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 3, and it goes for 3rd and 5.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And in a league that has historically beat the crap out of itself, because this is not new for the Big 12, I think this goes back to the conversation of, do you have a blue blood? Do you have brands? And the answer is no. And they've rarely had a brand. See Texas. Oh, Monty, Texas is back again. Right? When's the last time the Big 12 had a dominant brand in this conference? When's the last time they already crowned Clemson? When's the last time that it was?
Well, I think Oklahoma under Lincoln was pretty dominant.
Okay.
I
but
think
Lincoln sucks as a coach.
He doesn't win in the playoff, but he's a damn good regular season coach.
Who are you, Mike Gundy?
Yeah.
My point is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Big 12 has had that every single year going to dominate this conference team on a regular basis the way the Big 10 has or the SEC has. I mean, they certainly didn't have the dynamic the SEC had with Bama. Like, you didn't have that.
Or in recent times with Georgia,
all SRT.
Or the Michigan Ohio State dominance in the Big 10 the last decade.
Or SMU's dominance in the ACC.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
As you were. Let's get to the comments section. As always, presented by our good friends at Prize Picks, prizepicks.com.
Okay, now we need to talk about this. UFC fight card this weekend. Prize Picks has a discount on Israel Adesanya for half a significant strike. So obviously that's going to hit.
Wait, let's talk about stuff that people care about. Am I right or am I right or am I right?
Right.
I would like to, and listen, you guys, as I flip through my previous plays here on Prize Picks, I need to have a serious conversation with Shohei. Oh, you fucking asshole. Since he allegedly said what he allegedly said to the investigators,
right.
I have shied away from Shohei. Oh, you jerk off guy.
That's right, T.
Asshole. I hate the fundamentally.
Dude, it was Ipe,
fundamentally, Ipe is my friend because Shohei Ohtani last night, all he had to do was all my guy had to do was just get on base twice.
Mm-hmm.
Did he do that? I mean, it was 5 at bats against the Brewers. Right. Well, I mean, we're going deep. Right? Ask your mom. We're going deep.
Yeah. Right.
Hiscock.
No, Shohei, we're not, apparently. So, Shohei, thank you. I would also like to have a very serious conversation. And listen, I like Bryson Stott.
Why do you lie? Nobody who likes Bryson Stott.
Gangly fuck. They scored 13 runs. And you couldn't contribute? The one day I don't pick my goddamn left fielder, Kyle Schwarber. The one day. And then we got to talk about Jordan Spieth.
Bro.
It was just that day. There's one day a month on Prize Picks where your hands are around your ankles all day long. All day long.
Marty, it's the Shower Olympics, man.
Yesterday was that day. And what are the rules on this show when we talk about Prize Picks and specifically baseball? Right? Like you don't under any circumstances, no matter what you do, you don't play Prize Picks baseball unless Aaron Judge is playing. The Yankees were off yesterday, but I know more than you.
Right, obviously.
Don't take Kyle Schwarber, take Bryson Stott. Don't worry about the fact that it's the Brewers and show, hey, nice bet you put there. Take Ohtani. Rip Gavin Lux. And Gavin Lux comes through. So let me get this right, Shohei. Gavin Lux is a better hitter than you are. No, he's not. Just on the days I have you in Prize Picks, which will be never again. Okay, I feel worse.
Are you okay?
No.
No.
Yeah, that was frustrating yesterday. So today I say we're just going to run it back. We're going to shake it off. And I think birdies are better is where I'm at. Mm-hmm. We're taking Scotty Scheffler for more than 5 birdies. And I think Rory McIlroy for more than 5 birdies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I look at Tom Kim, you soldiering son of a biscuit, and I'm not taking you today. Because I really like Justin Thomas today. So the rule is on Prize Picks. You guys know how Prize Picks works. Less or more. Justin Thomas, 4 birdies, more or less. I'm taking more because my guy's a pimp. He's out there working the stroll. So I'm taking more. Anyway, you take 3 picks, right? So we're going to finalize our golf. Scotty Scheffler, more than 5 birdies. Roars, more than 4.5 birdies. And JT on the stroll, you pimp, more than 4 birdies. We're going to make it a flex play, so I only have to get 203 of those right, and we're going to do $5.
Yeah. Wait, $5?
I'm going to play a $25 flex play. I'm a baller.
Yeah.
So don't second guess yourself. When you open a new account at Prize Picks, download the app, use the promo code Monty, open a new account at Prize Picks, deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, fresh and sneezy, leezy.
And stuff.
You deposit $5, they'll give you 50, the big 50, the fuzz, the $50.
Yes.
No strings attached. You deposit $5 in a new account, they'll give you 50. Use the promo code Monty. Hook it up, Prize Picks. Download the app, America's favorite daily fantasy. Join the tens of millions of us that are playing on Prize Picks. It is a monster because it is enjoyable. Football season is here. Get on board at Prize Picks. Caleb Aylmore. So how down bad are those Vikings fans after their savior went down? Now listen. Come on, Aylmore. What ails more, Caleb or Free Harbaugh's knee? See, Aylmore, what ails, like what? JJ McCarthy, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, how's that working out?
Who are
That's
you, Ben
bullshit.
Simmons? Wouldn't that be awesome if he comes back next year and wins Rookie of the Year?
My back hurts, man.
It's his knee. Yeah. How about that? Out for the year, free Harbaugh. Phil Venzer, Monty, they didn't build Las Vegas on winners. No, they didn't. No, they did not. No, they yeah. Sean Rollins, BP running a little high, Monty. Dude, I wanted to strangle Shohei Ohtani yesterday. And Jordan Spieth, I watch golf during the day while I'm working. And Jordan Spieth, I don't know where homie's irons went.
The problem is he's so up and down.
Well,
He's
bro,
not
that's
reliable.
golf. That's golf, bro.
It is.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. His swing sucks.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It's fine. All right, let's see. Hello, the real Pete Forte, a member for 9 months. Thank you, sir. The real Pete Forte gives 10 Monty Show memberships. Thank you, Peter. We appreciate that. Maury Alvarez, our great Floridian. Did you guys hear about this lawsuit at Disney World? Dude takes his wife out to dinner, tells the service staff, hey, she's allergic to peanuts. She has a huge allergy. Dairy and peanuts. She will die. So, of course, we got it. Don't worry
He's
about
lying.
it. We're going to test that, sir, because we don't believe you.
You're so fucked.
That's not what happened. He told them she has severe food allergies. She's a doctor, by the way. She has dinner. They go walking around. They're at the Hard Rock or Planet Hollywood, excuse me, and she passes out and dies. They hit her with an EpiPen. It was not enough. She died of anaphylaxis, which is a severe allergic reaction. First of all, how much are you suing Disney and Disney World in that restaurant for?
Millions.
How about $50,000? That's it?
Legitimately, I'd be asking for like $50 million at least.
Okay. He files the lawsuit. How do you think Disney reacted? We're really sorry for your loss, sir. But you signed up for Disney Plus
Through Hulu?
Through Hulu, and you signed an agreement when you signed up for Disney Plus that you would go to arbitration. So, with all due respect, you can go fuck off. We're not going to court.
Come on, fucking, down.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
So wait.
I thought you said because I signed up for Disney Plus that after my wife has died in a restaurant in your park that I have to go to arbitration because Disney Plus's terms of service.
Yeah, take it. See ya.
Now, to their credit, that provision in the Disney Plus user agreement is in all capital letters, and it is. But you're really telling this, bro, hey, man, you signed up for Disney Plus. It's not our fault she's dead. Like, that's what you're saying. We're going to go to arbitration. $20. We're offering you $20.
Vexes me.
Who are you, Florida State and the ACC going to arbitration? What? They said to him, hey, do you not read the user agreement on Disney Plus, pal?
Who does?
You got to go to arbitration. So they're asking a judge to throw this guy's wrongful death lawsuit out because of Disney Plus. It's not funny, but goddamn, that is funny.
Cold-blooded, bro.
That's unbelievable. Call the advocates, theadvocates.com. I don't care. I'm suing. I want this in court. But why did he only ask for $50,000?
Yeah, that's
did you
the
not?
weird
I'm
part.
sorry. Did you not love her? 50,000. If my wife died, dude, you're 50 million.
Bro, you're dealing with Disney. Like, they've got the bread, bro.
Oak State James.
Okay, now-
Is this a stadium comment? And I haven't seen it yet.
James, I don't want to hear about luxury boxes today.
Is this a third deck on Wrigley Field comment?
Like, I don't need to hear about upper decks on Waveland, bro. Like, come on, be better.
I picked Utah to win in week 4. but Oak State is really good. Then why did you pick them to lose to Utah? Oh, Marty, let me tell you something here, kid. I know that I'm a TCU and Baylor and SMU fan. Have you seen Preston Stone's cock?
Stay hard.
But listen, how are you an Oak State fan and you think they're really good, but you pick them to lose to Utah?
Oh, fuck.
And did you see how much ass whooping you took yesterday on the Utah put a third deck over there thing? No, guy. They have all 3 wide receivers back and are healthy. Here's the problem, though. You also have Alan Bowman back. Remember last year when all you hyenas at Oak State were like, oh, bro, he's just a placeholder.
Well, we're having a walkout. People are done with Gundy. We're having a walkout. Bowman's gone.
I'm just telling you. Preston Stone is transferring to Oak State.
Bruh.
Remember when you said that last year, James? James never said that. But do you remember when you're like, oh, we've got this guy and that guy? Alan Bowman's just a placeholder. What happened to Alan Bowman, the placeholder? What happened to Alan Bowman is just he's a stopgap, a one-year guy. The problem is Alan Bowman's still your quarterback. And again, against Texas last year, what happened to your 3 wide receivers and everybody's mom? And Alan Bowman, and I hope for your sake that I'm completely wrong. It's never happened. Well, one time it happened.
Unbelievers.
But, my point is Alan Bowman's an average-ass quarterback.
Yeah.
This offense is predicated on Ollie Gordon running for 100 yards. Then Alan Bowman is all of a sudden J.J. McCarthy good, which isn't very good at all. Ow, my knee hurts.
By the way, Maury is DMing me complaining you didn't read his comment, his paid comment.
I just read your comment.
That you just said he donated, but you didn't read the comment.
If a miracle happens and BYU and Utah are undefeated, do you think game day will be at? No, it won't. It's never happening. I actually didn't read the comment. It's so funny to me how much you guys care about your comments getting read. Every day, I'm a member and you didn't read my comment. Every day.
Dude.
Now, paid comments, I think you guys are aware, I usually read half of the paid comment. That's a joke.
Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
When you pay me money to read your comment, I should read your whole comment. Mock you and ridicule you after. But anyway, if miracle happens and BYU and Utah are undefeated, which...
Yeah, it's not happening, bro.
Do you think game day will be at that game?
I mean, I think it depends on what the Utes do with their schedule. I think there's a chance game day would come to Salt Lake again. It was hugely successful, but not for the BYU-Utah game.
That game is November 9th. Chances that Pat McAfee, sued by Caitlin Clark, is going to wear a jacket.
And make a bunch of soaking jokes.
But Ryan Smith will be there. I don't think there's any way they're coming to that. I mean, if we just look at the potential, let me get the schedule out. Let me whip it out.
Right.
November 9th, Michigan, Indiana. That's where they'll go. Oh, that's right. Michigan won't have won a game. There's that other little game November 9th. I know. Georgia Ole Miss in the SIP.
It's a huge game. I don't know. Last time they matched up, Ole Miss got that ass beat.
I am begging Lane Kiffin and his unbelievably hot girlfriend. Google search it and thank me later. 21 times a month, boys. That's all you got to do, and she will help you. And if you know, you know. My point is, I am begging Lane Kiffin, please be good this year. Please. Please don't get fired on the tarmac. Please. Live up to it. Please. I'm begging you. Georgia Ole Miss is that weekend. Hopefully Purdue is going to go to the shoe to die. Bama LSU is that weekend at Death Valley. I don't think they're going there. It's just a hunch. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, Texas, Florida is that weekend. Florida State, Notre Dame is that weekend.
That's probably where they'll be.
Maury, I mean, it's a good thought, but I don't think it's happening. I truly do not, but that's just me. Andy Blackwell, don't do the Tanner voice, Jake. That's Monty's thing.
Oh, well, here you go, dude. Here you go. Do you want? Should we call it the Blackwell show?
Well, he actually shows up on Friday, unlike some people.
Well, I'm here, and this is like the third Friday this month we've worked. So, you know.
Wow, somebody's a red ass today. Well, it is Friday.
Yeah. What do you expect?
Caleb Aylmore, you got to stand by the team. No OSU fan wants Bowman to be the quarterback, but what are you going to do? But my point is, last
I don't
year,
know. Gundy could hop in the portal and find a quarterback.
Stop. What about Gunnar Gundy?
Yeah.
He's not available?
Yeah, where did he go?
Oh, that's right. He sucks too. My point is, man, Mike Gundy's so good he even coaches up. Oh, wait, he didn't coach up his own kid. My point is, Oak State fans just a year ago could not stop telling us how Alan Bowman, and he's holding it down for your mom. No, he's not.
Marty, we got all this quarterback depth now. Like, come on.
Marvell Strickland. BYU is really going to struggle. BYU is not a Power 5 caliber school. Tell us you don't know a thing about BYU football. They have a national championship. They put guys in the NFL. They have Heisman Trophy candidates and number 1 overall draft picks. But, yeah, they're not a Power 5 school.
I mean, just one of the best wide receivers coming out of BYU who's on the Rams that, you know, everyone seems to forget about.
Yeah, Puka Nacua.
Like, come on, dude.
That's how you say his name. But it's not Puka Nacua. It's way more funner. Way more fun. This could be a long show. Puka Nacua. Nah, Puka Nacua didn't just shit last year, Monty. He sucks. Okay. We get it. With Hall and Wilson, they look great, but now they're going to be projected to finish in the bottom 5 of the Big 12 every year.
Oh, congratulations for setting the new bar for dumbest comment of the day. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, but truly, I
dude.
love people who are like, BYU's not good. They're never going to be good. I mean, their job isn't to like grow and develop talent. Why is it that you believe in Marvell or whoever, in all seriousness, why is it that we think teams, people, programs can't improve?
Colorado, BYU, you know.
I think we just don't. Yeah, BYU. I don't know what else BYU has to do to prove they're that's a football powerhouse. Do they win games on a regular? Not recently. But does that mean they're a terrible football program? Not even close.
They put guys in the league every year, bro.
Not to mention the restrictions with which they have to operate in. To play football at BYU, you quite literally have to swear off of sex.
Yeah.
Tell an 18-year-old kid, now listen, I know you have offers from Georgia and Florida State, and I understand, listen, you can go to but why don't you come to Provo, not have sex, don't drink alcohol or smoke weed.
Or caffeine. Don't
drink caffeinated beverages. Don't pleasure yourself, and certainly don't watch R-rated movies. You can't have women in your dorm room past like 2:00 in the afternoon. Other than that, it's quite a normal college experience.
It'd be great if you didn't curse once in a while, too.
And let's not forget about church like 7 times a week. Okay. Other than that, and the classes here, dude, they're really hard. Other than that, everything's great. You're going to love it. Look at the mountains.
Come on, dude.
That's how you recruit at BYU.
It just bothers me when comments come in like this because it tells me you don't understand or appreciate what it takes to go from being an independent to being in a Power 4 conference and moving up the ranks. Like, it's so rare we see that in college football.
Andy Blackwell. Okay, it's apparently Andy versus Jakey Two Holes today. What's with the attitude today, Jake? Did you get a knockback last night?
No, I love when dudes like you want to come in here and you want to tell us how to do the show. So I like.
Listen,
hey,
Jake.
Don't do
Jake,
the Tanner voice.
You're
Don't
riding
talk
Monty's
politics.
coattails. You're riding Monty's coattails.
I'm riding Morty's coattails.
You don't look at the camera ever.
I don't look at the camera. I don't care, bro. It's my show. Like it's like, bro, you're not the one waking up at 4 o'clock, bro.
I'm not here. It's his show.
I'm not here for you to tell me what to say or not to say. It's not the Andy Blackwell show.
It could be.
Go, yeah, again.
Well, he's taking days off. I need a co-host.
Jesus.
Some people, like some of us, actually take this show seriously. Others of us go on vacation in September.
What do you want me to say? They literally bought me the trip. I wasn't asked. I was told.
Well, that's
like
no. I'm not falling for your bullshit today. I am not falling for your. I am not biting the hook with you today.
Yeah, please respect my privacy.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. I was not asked. I was told, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Brandon Butler provides 5 Monty Show memberships. You get such a red ass about it. What do you want from me? They don't ask me. I go where I'm told to go. God damn it.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
So, Andy, when you roll up in here being a Jaguar,
I was told I wasn't asked.
Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what am I supposed to say to you? Yeah, you know what, Andy? I forgot. You're the guy that runs the show. I won't do the Tanner voice anymore. You know.
I want to thank me for having no days
I'll
off.
just show up every day. I'll show up every day. And why don't you just?
I don't have rights. I don't have freedoms, boy. Do you think this is America? Wow. I go where I am told to go.
You know.
Oh man. I just.
Do you see the positions I put you in? Do you see how great I just made the show right there?
Oh my god!
Do you see the kind of facilitation
I wasn't asked.
create?
I was told. Holy Jesus, have we had this conversation 100? You guys have no idea just how fitting that comment is. Oh my god. Okay, Steely Matt. I don't mind Ferris. He's very dedicated.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Guys, stop picking on Jakey. Yeah, he's told where to go. Stop. Boyd Lake, yo, bros, what are we screaming about? Exactly.
I don't know either.
Oh my God. Caleb Aylmore, no caffeine. I'd be in a bad place if I don't get caffeine. The headaches are awful, you guys. That's not even a joke. Do you guys understand do you guys know what the honor code at BYU is? It essentially says don't have sex, don't pleasure yourself, don't watch R-rated movies, don't have women in your dorm room, earthquake in their dorm, not your own dorm. Do you understand how hard it is to go into Fontana, California, to go into Hialeah, Florida, to go into any high school of note and tell a kid, come play football for us? It's going to be amazing. The chaste lifestyle that you live is going to make you an unbelievable football player. And then when you do catch them having sex or their roommate turns them in for watching R-rated movies at BYU, they get humiliated. Where do I sign up, sir?
Just thrilled.
It's a tough way of life, man. Yes. Hey, bro, but look at the mountains. It's beautiful here. Right? And so then when you get Isaac Wilson not going to BYU and going to Utah, oh, well, that's because he wants to smoke weed. That's what BYU fans says.
Yeah.
His mom's crazy.
Possession by consumption,
That's what I'm saying. Andy Blackwell. Oh, fuck. Just a little constructive criticism,
hey,
Junior.
Listen, it's fine. If that's the best you can do,
low,
I
buddy.
understand, dude. If that's the best you can do, I get it.
Look, low, buddy. You don't talk on this show till you're 25.
Yeah, I get it, dude.
Jamie and Fowler. Who needs coffee in the morning when you got two holes opening a can of whoop ass on the chat?
I mean, come on, dude. Like, it's my favorite part of the show. Legitimately, I love when dude who isn't here every day, or at least doesn't comment every day, wants to come in and tell me how to do the show.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Steely Matt, that code would not work for me at that age. But that's my point on BYU. The challenges of building a consistent contender at BYU are unlike any other school in the country. And we half joke about, hey, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. Dude, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
It is really difficult when you consider that you're an 18-year-old kid, and one of the considerations is not what is my role in the offense and how soon can I start? It's, dude, can't have sex while I play football. Good luck.
Well, and you haven't even mentioned the academic standard yet. I mean, the academics at BYU are high. Like,
it is not an easy place to be a student. It truly is not.
But that said, if you can go to BYU and you can be successful and you're cool with that part of it, you're going to do really well. And I do think it's why, guys who go to BYU do really well in the league. You don't typically hear, hey, this dude who went to BYU was out at 2 a.m. driving his SRT 200 miles an hour. You don't really hear that, because the way they develop folks, it just makes them, just the way they go about life is different, and so that's fine. I don't hold that against BYU like a lot of people do. What I'm saying about BYU is that they've got to deal with all of that, yet they still have been able to put guys in the league. They still have been able to move into the Big 12. They still have the relationship with ESPN. So hate on them all you want. The reality is they've got a better TV contract than your school does 9 out of 10 times. They make your conference better without having to win a single football game. And what's incredible is when we say stuff like that over the years, we're put into this box of like, oh, you guys are just BYU fans. Not really. I'm not a BYU fan. I didn't grow up in Utah. I just happen to like living in Utah.
I happen to respect the grind that is BYU athletics and being a student at BYU. Like, I have having friends who went to, like, one of the things that's crazy is there's also BYU Idaho, which is, dude, you look at somebody the wrong way and you're getting expelled. I'm not even joking. Like, I have a friend that went to BYU Idaho who got expelled for not watching R-rated movies. Having R-rated movies in her dorm room. She got expelled for that. That's how crazy. Like, now that's not what's going to happen at BYU Provo. You're probably not getting expelled.
It's a little more liberal.
It is a little more liberal.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
But, Steely says Fontana, California reference. Nice. Hello, Rancho Cucamonga. Mr. Johnny. I'm here for it today. As a former BYU student, I can tell you there are rules, and then there are rules. Nobody is actually going to get in trouble for drinking Mountain Dew and watching Grindhouse. Well, truth be told, there are caffeinated beverages. I think on the BYU Provo campus, it's been since 2019, 2020. But it is, yeah. James, I love this show. Monty and Jake are very passionate about sports. I picked Utah to win game 4. Oak State will win the rematch.
Bro, you're assuming they're going to get there. That's the problem.
If you lose to Utah, you're probably not getting to Arlington. Do the math. If you lose to Utah, the chances that you're undefeated the rest of the season are
next to none, bro.
Next to none. I would agree with that. No one told BYU that 21 times in 30 days reduces prostate cancer by 35%.
Okay, see, that's a great poll right there. That's funny.
No pun intended.
That's funny.
A great poll.
No pun intended.
A great.
Yeah.
Jake said 21 times in 30 days is physically impossible.
That's not what I said.
To which I say.
That's not what I said.
To which I say, say less. Say less, sir.
If you want to go to the spank bank, you want to play a little game of,
the guy who just says I was told, I wasn't asked. just said spank bank.
You're such
You're
a hater,
in
bro.
a relationship.
You're such a hater,
Have
bro.
sex, sir.
You're
Make
a hater.
sex great again.
You're a hater, bro. Just straight up a hater.
But am I wrong?
Hater.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's what I say. I believe BYU allows caffeine sodas on its campus, like in the food court. 2018, excuse me. There you go. Just a little fun, Blackwell. So yeah, it's all in good fun. We're not. Nobody's. Really
I like how it shifts from hey, don't do the Tanner voice to just a little fun. I'm just saying. It changes quickly.
Can you read in voice inflection in comments? I don't think you can. That's definitely a commitment most of us couldn't do.
Agreed.
I totally agree. BYU's alumni base alone makes them a power 4. I agree with that. Big Blue Horses, J2H, all is well. Have some bucked up, get a couple of roller taquitos, watch your Saturday after dark, remain calm.
Yeah.
And not doing it. I'm not, see, this is your fault, not my fault.
Know.
I kind of want Michigan to get hit really hard with sanctions after they got a 4-star over Ohio State. Maybe he will flip after the fact. I don't know that you're going to flip after the fact. I think Michigan's going to get wrecked. The NCAA is coming.
Yeah, well, if you're a 4-star and you got recruited by them and you chose to go there now or anytime in the last probably 90 to 120 days.
This last recruiting cycle.
Yeah, like you knew what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%. Sean Rollins gets 5 Monty Show memberships. Let's go. Way to go. We appreciate that. If you guys hit the like button yet, please do. Always appreciate when you guys hit the like button. Corian Byerly, the ghost of Gumby. Oh, no, he had one already. I apologize. H.E. Pennypacker, the Sir Killer, great. Q Sam and Cody Schiffman, all gifted memberships by Sean Rollins.
Nice.
We appreciate that. Thank you guys very much. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at Canyons Golf. Cannot wait to get back to Canyons Golf. Little work in the backyard golf dojo last night. Yeah, it's a dojo. I don't know. It's Friday. I can tell you that right now, I don't know that I've ever hit my irons as well as I am hitting them right now, which brings me great insecurity over my driver. Because much like Jordan Spieth, the funny thing about golf is that when you work hard on, like, I had really been struggling with my irons. Jordan Spieth struggles with his irons and he misses the green right by like a foot. I struggle with my irons and I kill somebody who lives 3 blocks away. My point is, I'm hitting my irons really well. And I am not working on my driver at all right now. And it is probably going to manifest itself. It's probably going to manifest itself in a very bad way tonight. I am excited to get back to Canyons this weekend, playing up there Saturday and Sunday. Looking forward to it. I love hitting driver up there. Need a good range session today.
Mm-hmm.
Today is all about getting out on the range and hitting that driver a million times and trying to fix that thing, because I have been working those irons hard. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Canyons Golf. If you guys don't know it, Park City Mountain Resort. No, it didn't happen.
Wow.
Park City Mountain Resort is where you'll find Canyons Golf. World-class resort, world-class golf in a resort environment, great hospitality, great food. If you're looking for a boys' trip for golf, book it at Park City Mountain Resort. It's fantastic. The staff at the course is unbelievable. It's concierge-style service. The course, the fairways are lush. The greens are rolling. They're undulated greens, but the vistas, the views, the atmosphere. And this time of year, and I was looking at the forecast this morning while laying in bed contemplating pretending that the power was out. I was looking at the forecast. We are in the 90s and 80s in the valley of Salt Lake City. Up in Park City, dude, 70s and 80s for the next 45 days. And I am here for it. I am really excited. This is the perfect time of year for weather. I'm I'm stoked. Can't wait to get up to the mountains and play golf. Join me this weekend up at Canyons on Friday and Saturday. If you're up there, make sure you say hello. Ask them where I'm at. They'll tell you I'm on the course. I'm a pimp. You can't miss it. Just look for the galleries to be following me around. My galleries are huge. Nobody watches me play golf. It's amazing.
Nobody's had the biggest galleries as you do in the history of golf.
My galleries are bigger than Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech. So, but the point is, Canyons Golf, the official golf course of the Monty Show. Resort style golf, municipal prices, and a great experience. Tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. All right. Andy Blackwell. Monty, didn't you say Jake was late to the party with Team Virginity? He is. Jake is saving himself for marriage.
Vexes me.
Which is why he's struggling to get to 21 times a month.
Terribly vexed.
Isn't that right, Jake?
Sure, man. Whatever you say.
Oak State James. Monty, if you need a new sidekick, I can transfer to Salt Lake City VA Hospital. I love wearing red. Remember everyone deployed, especially our Fort Hood guys in Poland. Indeed. Thank you for your service, everybody. Please don't transfer. Jake has decided to take the month of September off from the show. So I'm in the market for a new co-host.
Fucking A.
San Diego State Glenn, my nephew who committed to Cal was offered by BYU, wasn't a legit consideration for many reasons.
Which is fair.
Tanner Plummer, Marty is part of the Cobra Kai of golf. Exactly. It's the golf dojo. I think I was using my launch monitor the other day and working on my iron swing. And I think having my backyard golf setup has been a game changer for me. Like it is. And if all you can do, if you have grass in your backyard, I'm telling you, just get a big square, a golf hitting mat. It's worth the money. Trust me. Get a golf hitting mat, get a 10 by 10 net, and it'll change your golf life. You will become a better golfer. It is worth it. The exercise is worth it. I think so. You guys know I've been back in the gym lifting the last week or so. I am far less sore this time around, and I think it's because I go out and I hit golf balls every day. Even if it's just the other day, I took like 20 swings at lunch. Just baking in that feeling, right? Just baking in that feeling, I think makes a huge difference. Cobra Golf. No, I'm a PXG guy. Jake probably doesn't get that reference, Tanner says. Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen The Karate Kid?
Once.
Okay. Andy Blackwell, how are you swinging that wood lately, J2H?
Great. It's 260, 265 usually.
It wasn't a golf reference.
A little baby fade down the middle. It's good. Yeah, it's really good. Yep.
Sex reference.
Right.
Ryan Smith's receding hairline says, we show up.
We show up.
I love how in Salt Lake City, they'll put educational issues on a ballot because it's a bond and it requires us as citizens of the great city of Salt Lake and the state of Utah to pay more money in taxes. They'll put that on a ballot measure and we get to vote on it.
Well, you guys know that, Ryan Smith is revitalizing downtown, and we won't talk about the things that we're going to lose due to that project. But, when you revitalize downtown, one of the things you have to deal with is the homeless folks problem in downtown Salt Lake. So we're going to put it to a vote in Salt Lake on a ballot because it's a bond. And part of that is, hey, we're going to combine 2 prisons on a new piece of land and create a mental institution to take all these homeless folks and put them in there so nobody sees them anymore. But we're not going to put it to a vote as to whether Ryan Smith should get $1 billion in tax kickback.
But if we want to help homeless people with their mental health crisis, we'll put it to a vote.
It's ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Ed Enriquez. Good morning, fellas. I missed you. No, we missed you, sir. Good to see you. Sean Rollins. The month of September, some of us like to work. Others of us are lazy fucks. James. Jake is a pimp. Person in Marty's presence.
Exactly.
P-I-M-P.
That's a great way to put it.
I don't know what you heard about me. Gumby, the 70s and 80s is heaven. I love it. It's one of the things I miss about living in LA. 75 and sunny every single day. Now, has it been hot? Sure. Has it been colder? Yes. Has it been raining? Yes. Has it been on fire? Yes. I miss the food and I miss the weather. Andy Blackwell. WTF is a Jazz doing adding 35-year-old Patty Mills?
And again, we were going to talk about this the other day and we didn't get to it. But we're not the only ones anymore saying that the Jazz are the most clueless organization in the league right now.
I have no idea what you're doing with Patty Mills. And what is Patty Mills doing with you?
Getting money. Like the comment says, Andy, for once we agree. He's 35 years old. He's looking to get paid. That's it. Fully guaranteed deal.
Like,
what are we doing?
A lot. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. All right, let's talk about Caitlin Clark versus Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee. Did you guys hear this story? So Pat McAfee calls Caitlin Clark a bunch of derogatory, misogynistic terms on ESPN. He apologizes. She accepts his apology and then asks him to play her one-on-one in basketball. They write up a contract. They play one-on-one, and she beats his ass. Allegedly, the score was 22-5. Allegedly, they filmed the whole thing, and it was supposed to, according to the contract, air on Pat's show on ESPN. Allegedly. This is all interwebs. Allegedly, Pat is so humiliated that he refuses to air the segment. And now, allegedly, Caitlin Clark is suing Pat McAfee for breach of contract. Now, this is, again, reporting from the internet. But this is really believable. And the problem that I have here is, am I the only one who feels like Pat has kind of lost his way at ESPN? And talking to several people in the TV industry, I agree with most of those people who say Pat's been an overwhelming success at ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
He has brought new viewers, younger viewers, better demographics to that part of the day, which is exactly what he was doing there. And Pat has revitalized and rebooted sports talk at ESPN, who is, and you probably don't know and you probably don't care, but they're moving away from sports talk radio with an emphasis on live stream and direct-to-consumer products. Pat McAfee fits right into that, and I think he's done a really good job with that. He's also made a ton of mistakes and treated people not as well as he probably should have. He has said some things, whether it's Washington State, amongst others, said some things on game day that probably have not been good. He has repeatedly done things on his show, including calling Caitlin Clark a terrible name. Do you think it's been a win for ESPN?
I mean, I think from a viewership standpoint, it has been. I think that ESPN obviously is the leader in sports coverage in our country. So from a relevance standpoint, has, Pat helped them stay relevant, I guess, marginally. I mean, it's ESPN. How much more relevant can you be? Honestly, you're already the juggernaut in the space. So I would agree. He's brought more eyes for sure. That was his task.
Clearly.
That was the whole point of it. But I think the question is less about whether he's been a success and more about whether or not it's been worth it. Has the controversies and the drama and, Pat going on these other podcasts and talking junk and doing things has that been worth it? And I don't know that we can say that it necessarily has. Now, to his credit, I think, and I don't watch his show with any regularity anymore, but to his credit, I do feel like he's done a little bit better job of staying out of the news until this story had kind of popped up. Like, you hadn't really heard of Pat saying something dumb or just doing something on the show that was so outlandish that it forced people to talk about it. So, like he had one kind of mistake during the Olympics and the opening ceremonies thing, but I don't really feel like that caught a lot of coverage. Honestly, I don't feel like that. Like, I don't feel like nationally that got picked up. It
didn't help. It didn't. Pat, for it's the transgender female boxer who it turns out is not transgender and is fully female. Pat went in on that and was on the wrong side of it.
So, I think he's improving on not doing as much of that. It obviously is still happening. So has it been worth it? Yeah, I think for ESPN, for the most part, it's been worth it. But I think this Caitlin Clark thing is a really good example of who Pat's become. I don't think that Pat, somehow just forgot how to do his show. But what I do think Pat has lost sight of is that it's fine to get your ass beat by Caitlin Clark in basketball. It's
actually
all she
good for
does.
the show.
Yeah, like if you would put this segment out, people would be like, "Oh man, Caitlin Clark like crushed Pat McAfee at basketball." Who's surprised? I mean, Caitlin Clark is literally one of the best basketball players on the planet. Like, I don't care if we're talking male or female, W or just regular NBA. She's one of the best basketball players on the planet, and I would expect Pat McAfee to get roasted by her.
If this is true, because I haven't seen the lawsuit yet,
Yeah.
If it is in fact true that Caitlin Clark is suing Pat McAfee for this, I don't know what Pat's doing here. I love Pat's show. I think I've talked about this before. I love it a lot less now than I used to. I used to watch Pat McAfee every single day. And I think the wild stuff, the off-color comments about Caitlin Clark, the transgender boxer thing was a huge mistake. A huge mistake.
And by the way, when do all these issues come up outside of football season?
And it's becoming a thing about female sports as well. Like, and you guys may not know this, I don't know, but Pat is based in Indianapolis. He is a Indianapolis Colts legend. There's no doubt about that. Where does Caitlin Clark play basketball? Indianapolis. You're taking on a local, cultural, national icon in Caitlin Clark. And I don't understand that. And we can sit here and we can spin that he was trying to compliment her with that horrendous word that I just don't think you should ever say about a woman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a compliment. And so we get into this situation where we have to believe or not believe Pat McAfee. I hope Caitlin Clark is actually not suing Pat. Again, I will believe it when I see the lawsuit, but it would not surprise me. And this is my problem with Pat right now. It would not surprise me if he refused to air a segment where he got beat by Caitlin Clark in basketball. Because it would not surprise me if he thought, well, she's a woman, I can beat her in basketball. Because that's who Pat, in my opinion, is turning into. He's not this likable guy that I used to love watching anymore. I feel like he's turned into hot take, not as prepared as he should be or informed as he should be about female boxers and what that word means to women in this country. When at a time, our culture very clearly, we are having culture wars over respect for women.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense for what is unquestionably a businessman in Pat McAfee and what's historically been a really good one to go to battle with Caitlin Clark. It doesn't make sense to me. And I just don't know if he is running roughshod, if he doesn't have a no guy. I don't know. But somebody needs to get to Pat and get him focused on anything but the body parts of the people he's talking about.
And I think that's the hard part for ESPN is I do think Pat McAfee's show, while it is the biggest sports talk show that we have in all of sports talk, in my opinion, from a viewership standpoint, he's got more views than pretty much any other show like it. I don't compare his show to like First Take or like that type. I think his show feels completely different than that. I think it's so much more personable and like you can connect to it so much easier. It feels like a bunch of dudes chilling in a garage just talking about sports, which a lot of times is great. I mean, a lot of times as listeners, that's what we want. But you can't. You have to be careful with that. You have to be careful of, hey, like we're a bunch of dudes sitting around giving you a dude's perspective on what a woman should be doing. That's when you get in trouble. Like you have to be careful. But I think for ESPN, Pat's show still has a ton of upside for the company itself. I mean, if Pat would take it a little more seriously and would just simply prepare better. I'm not even saying to change anything with the show per se. I'm simply saying take a little more time to prepare. Or if you don't have time, put a system in place where your people can help you prepare while you're doing WWE or while you're doing game day or like all the other stuff he has to do. He just has to be better.
When Pat McAfee is talking NFL or college football, it's wildly entertaining. I don't want AJ Hawk talking WNBA. I don't need that. I don't need, and the other thing that he tends to do is he does all these weird guests. I need AJ Hawk talking Ohio State and talking NFL. That's what I need AJ Hawk for. I need him to talk about Aaron Rodgers. That's what I need AJ Hawk for. This other stuff, I've never understood it. And to this day, I don't.
And I think the thing for the guys on that show are like, you have to understand that you have to meet ESPN in the middle a little bit. Like, and what I mean is like, hey, do your show, do it the way you want to do it, be yourself. Like that's what got you here. But when you're talking to the entire country, which you are at this point, you got to understand that there are some boundaries. There are like some sidelines you got to play inside of, which would be like, hey, we're going to stay away from calling Caitlin Clark that name. We're not going to discuss, we're not, our show probably shouldn't be talking about the female boxer controversy at the Olympics or the opening ceremonies controversy, if we want to call it that, at the, like, let's stay away from that stuff. Let's talk about football. We can talk some baseball. When the hockey playoffs are happening, we can talk some NHL because we can get some guests on, and ESPN is using our show to push the playoffs. Like just stay in that, just stay on the easy stuff. That's all you have to do. And let your personality make the topic. But they don't want to do that. What they want to do is they want to feel like, hey, we're going to put our own spin on this controversial stuff. And when you mess with the bull, you get the horns. And so if this is true, because I think it's a huge if, like you said, it's not a great look for Pat. It does kind of go right down that same alley of, hey, this dude's got some issues, if you will, whatever label you want to put on it, with how he goes about doing business with women or talking about women or any of that. And you can't have that at ESPN.
Yeah, I agree. Big shout out to Dave Laynard. Dave Laynard, our newest member of the show.
Go, Dave.
We have 2 levels of membership. You can get into the Monty Show members only Instagram chat by DMing Jake, SLC Jake. And he will put you in that for $10 a month. For $2 a month, all your comments get highlighted and read. That we read member comments before any others. Let's see. Tanner Plummer. Pat McAfee is fascinated with soaking, and it's pretty funny.
But see, it's like that thing. See, here's the deal. When you're talking to Ryan Smith about the Jazz and all you want to do is make soaking comments, it does lower the respect level.
I agree.
It makes you look like a child on ESPN. And I just, that to me that's where I kind of stopped watching Pat. I was over it when you couldn't help yourself.
And then when you go sit courtside with Ryan Smith at a Jazz game.
Yeah.
And the thing that I struggle with Pat, like with the soaking thing is, okay, I don't care if you make soaking earthquaking jokes. That's cool. Ask him about not putting it on the ballot. Ask him legitimate questions. Inform yourself. But Pat does not appear to me, in my opinion, to inform himself and educate himself on real issues. He wants to be bros with his guests. He doesn't want to ask hard questions. It's why he does not go after Aaron Rodgers. It's why he does not go after whoever you put on his show. That's not who he is, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Tanner says, pretty crazy. Pat got off easy with the Epstein stuff. Yes, he did.
Another example of something that if I'm Pat McAfee, I'm never talking about. I'm not getting involved in it. I'm not doing that.
James, hey, the Olympic thing was just wrong. How dare they make fun of Smurfs? That blue dude was an attempt to make fun of Smurfs. That's just wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Dave says it's pronounced Leonard. Okay.
Leonard.
Dave Leonard, welcome to the show. Appreciate you very much. Can't wait for the next episode of As Harbaugh Turns.
Wow.
Well, he wanted to hire Colin Kaepernick as an assistant coach. Now he says he will not do that until at least next year. So the somebody needs to help Colin Kaepernick understand the high school workout disaster is where your career ended.
Yeah.
Move on. He said he wants to play, and you're not. Andy Blackwell. Pat needs to follow the Monty Show professionalism, covering the hard-hitting topics like team lean. That's what I'm saying.
But listen, here's the advantage we have, right? Like, that's a great example. We can do that because we're not on ESPN.
And we're unencumbered on this show.
I would never do half the stuff we do if we were on ESPN. The show would be a little bit different than it is with us just doing what we do.
If we still had, we used to have we used to have 10 sponsors on the show.
Yeah.
If we still had 10 sponsors, if we were still it's different. We changed the model of the show. We changed the business model of the show for this particular reason. Because it becomes a bit much, it's Pat chose the bed he lies in when he went to ESPN. Pat is not a real journalist, and it's pretty obvious. No, he's an entertainer. There's no doubt about that. He is an entertainer. Says facts. Aaron Wilson, I just was talking to Mrs. Monty about you yesterday. I said, I wonder how my guy's doing. How are you, Aaron Wilson? Good to see you, man. Pew, pew. The Ghost of Gumby, leaner and cleaner.
That's right.
It's team squad. Team squad. Sean Rollins, Aaron Wilson with a salute. Yes. Lubbock's favorite smile. Yes. Keith Carl, McAfee got paid. Why would he care about taking his job seriously? Well,
because I think that I don't necessarily disagree. Hey, he got paid. Like, he doesn't have to take it as seriously, but just as like I don't know. I just believe that anybody you talk to, on some level, everyone has a voice in their head that says, hey, like, yeah, I don't care as much, but there are limits. There are limits to everything that you do on a show. And Pat loves, from a personality standpoint, Pat loves sticking it to the head honchos at ESPN. It's well documented. Like, fine. If that's the guy you want to be, you want to go against the grain, fine. But you can't take it so far that you're putting ESPN in a position where they have to decide whether or not it's worth it to keep you. That's where it's just unnecessary. Well, if you're Pat, why would you, to your point, why would you risk the bag? I mean, what is he getting, 50 plus a year from ESPN? Like, why would you risk that, man? Like,
it's a huge deal.
Like, why would you not just conform, like do your show, have fun with it? You've got this incredible studio you've built that's unlike anybody else's studio. You've got a style unto yourself that nobody else has. Like, you've got a great thing. I'm not asking Pat to just totally change his show and to try to be like Dan Patrick. I'm not saying that. Yeah. What I'm saying is, just don't make a buffoon of yourself on the Olympics. Like at least show up understanding like what you're talking about if you're going to talk about something.
100%.
That's it.
Mr. Preston, hello. Hey, Dustin Osterman. Good to see you, bud. Sorry if I missed this, but did Sam Ponder really get fired for speaking about women's rights in Title IX? There was news yesterday that ESPN laid off Robert Griffin III and Sam Ponder. There is no indication they were fired, but Sam Ponder, there's been a big conversation, and I think Dave Portnoy probably started it, but there's been a big conversation about Sam Ponder's belief system. And she talked openly about keeping biological men, is the word she used, I believe, out of female sports. And that was during the Olympics. And she was very outspoken about Title IX. I don't know if Sam Ponder was fired. The belief is that ESPN laid off two very controversial people. Robert Griffin III wasn't good at his job. I think a lot of us agree with that. Sam Ponder's really good at her job. She is wildly talented. She is, I feel like Sam Ponder is somebody that I don't know why they let her go. It's a very interesting juxtaposition to Robert Griffin III. I think Robert Griffin III just wasn't great.
And certainly was expendable.
Sam Ponder is one of the only female voices of note on the NFL at ESPN. Hosted NFL Countdown. I'm curious what the truth is. I don't think anybody knows.
Well, and I think the problem for ESPN with it is it's like we always say, right? Perception's reality. So when nobody knows why she was laid off, people speculate. And I think that's the hard part for ESPN is, again, ESPN is in the business of deciding when to talk and when not to talk about the things they do. You'll notice a lot of times you never hear anything from ESPN. You never hear any comment or anything about it. No. So I would be surprised if you heard anything on this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting to me that this all went down. It is what it is. You know what, man? I think it is very interesting that you have people that I think it's very interesting that you have people who do pay attention to that stuff. So it's fine. I don't tend to get wrapped up in that. Let's see. Aaron Wilson, Monty doesn't ignore people. No, generally we don't. But I don't know what that's in reference to, but I'm generally on busy days, and we have over almost 1,200 comments today. I'm going to probably only read member comments mostly. UW fan Jim, Pat said nice things about the dogs. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, great to see you, my guy. I thought you went to hunt down Salty Drunk. Easy. Sam Ponder will have a job at Fox Sports by next week. Okay, there you go. Is the Dan Patrick Show still on the air? I don't know. I think it is.
I believe it is, yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while. Yes, parted ways with.
Right.
Separated from.
Mutually agreed.
Yeah. Anyone see that RG3 croissant pic? I did not. Croissant. I did not, actually. He got roasted big time. I didn't see it. Aaron Wilson, no way. I'm a fan of this show for life. I'll never go away. Wreck 'em. Who's telling you to go away? You always have a home here, dude. RG3, next Baylor coach. 8-Ball has a job for life.
Yeah, RG3 would be better than 8-Ball is.
RG3 was my favorite personality. Really? He's a really good game analyst. It's just sometimes he gets out of,
Yeah.
LFG says Dan Patrick Show is still on. Okay, good. I'm glad it's still on. Hey, did you guys see the story on Matthew Perry and ketamine? Now, do you know what ketamine is? Before this story, did you have any idea that this was a thing?
No. I mean, I've heard of ketamine, obviously, just generally speaking. I think everyone's heard of it, but
yes.
I didn't know that people were using it in the way that he was using it. I didn't know that was a thing.
Matthew Perry from Friends died in a pool at his house. And now 5 people have been arrested. And there's stories out there and reporting and charges that Matthew Perry was spending at a minimum of $55,000 for 20 vials of ketamine at a time. Ketamine is a powerful anesthetic. Essentially, it puts you to sleep so you can have surgery. Remember Michael Jackson? He died using propofol, which is another anesthetic, so that he could sleep. You need anesthesia to go to sleep. Okay, there's some problems going on here. Now back to ketamine. Ketamine therapy is an actual real thing, and it helps people who battle anxiety, depression, mental health, and addiction. That's not what Matthew Perry was allegedly using it for, according to authorities. From September until Perry's death last October, doctors provided him 20 vials of ketamine for $55,000.
Man.
Perry and his assistant, Kenneth Awamasa, were the ones that got the ketamine from doctors. They know this because in an 18-count indictment, Salvador Plasencia was a doctor who learned that Perry wanted ketamine. Long known as a club drug, it's increasingly used to treat people with depression. Plasencia, the doctor, turned around and reached out to another doctor, Mark Chavez of San Diego, who had owned a ketamine clinic. Soon the two physicians were texting how much to charge Perry for the drug. Quote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay," Plasencia said. "Let's find out." Plasencia went on to provide ketamine to Perry and his assistant. Plasencia repeatedly injected Perry with the drug himself and instructed Awamasa on how to do it, according to the indictment. It was like a bad movie, Plasencia wrote in a text message to Chavez. So these doctors preyed on Matthew Perry, according to this indictment. But see, the problem is, wasn't enough. 20 vials of ketamine wasn't enough. It is now known that a dual U.S.-UK citizen who lived in North Hollywood named Jasveen Senga had been selling ketamine and other drugs for years. In mid-October, Perry's personal assistant, Awamasa, was looking for sources to acquire ketamine outside of these doctors. He reached out to a friend who then reached out to a major underground seller known as the Ketamine Queen. Senga knew that ketamine could be fatal. In August 2019, a man overdosed on ketamine provided by Senga, prosecutors said. Afterward, one of the man's family members sent a text to Senga, quote, "The ketamine you sold my brother killed him. It's listed as his cause of death." Senga then typed a question into Google, quote, "Can ketamine be listed as a cause of death?" She began providing ketamine to Perry through his friend and coordinated the sales with his personal assistant, according to the indictment. On October 28th, Awamasa, the personal assistant, injected Perry with at least 3 shots of ketamine using syringes provided by Plasencia, the doctor. The actor was found unresponsive in his pool later that day. So you're in such a bad place that you need ketamine to soothe your pain. You paid at least $55,000 for 20 vials and probably much, much, much more than that to the Ketamine Queen.
Right.
Can you imagine being a multimillionaire with everything to live for and then dying from an alleged overdose of ketamine where you drown face down in the warm end of your swimming pool? Like, how do you, if you're the personal assistant, how do you live with yourself? I mean, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, I don't know. For Matthew Perry, like I think about this as like, dude didn't have someone in his life to say, hey, like, I understand that we got to do something about this, but getting mixed up with these kind of people is bad news.
Listen, I understand that ketamine has a real use for people with mental health issues and battling mental health. Ketamine is a real answer, but it is not something to play with. Like propofol, Michael Jackson hired a doctor to administer him propofol so he could sleep. You're in a bad place. If you need ketamine to exist, you're Matthew Perry. And you are, I don't know, would you call that an addiction to ketamine? Dude, you're spending 6 figures on ketamine.
Right.
That's a lot of bread, dude.
Yeah, you said that was on a monthly basis. He was spending that much.
No, for 20 vials. How long does 20 vials of ketamine last a guy like Matthew Perry?
Yeah, I don't know.
He spent 55 GER on 20 vials of ketamine. Can you imagine the dark place that cat was in?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's really sad, and I'm glad arrests were made.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, there's clearly more to this picture than just Matthew Perry's portion of it, and I think that's where, like, law enforcement, that's why they're getting involved.
But think about the people around him, and this is what I say about money. Money lessens your value to people on the human level. When you have all the money that Matthew Perry had, and all the home, the pool, the car, the cash, the hose, you're not Matthew Perry, who's a nice guy and a really good friend of mine. Because if that was what Matthew Perry meant to you, you would not have been trying to find alternative methods and methods outside of these doctors to get ketamine for him. And I'm glad they arrested his personal assistant. Because if that personal assistant had fought for what was best for Matthew Perry would, in my opinion, still be alive. In my opinion, when you don't say no to somebody like Matthew Perry, you killed them. When this doctor that administered Michael Jackson the propofol didn't say no to him, when his subordinates didn't say no to him, you're only looking at Michael Jackson and Matthew Perry as paychecks.
Yes.
In my opinion.
No, I completely agree. And I think you have a responsibility to do better than that. And part of it is, yeah, it's on the assistant for sure. But part of it is it's on Matt himself.
Yes.
I mean, I think we as people, we have to put in, structure to protect ourselves. And I think that, when it's kind of like what you're saying, right? When you have all those resources and you have that kind of money available to you, like, I don't know what it's like to have that much money. I mean, you're talking about someone here who, probably just based off friends alone is what, 100 millionaire probably. I mean, that show is one of the highest grossing revenue shows of all time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about someone who's got resources that are, for his purposes, just living life every day, endless. I mean, that's what you're talking about. And so with that being the case, I think that what happened here was he got mixed up with the wrong people, and he was relying on his assistant to help him, and his assistant didn't help him. And this is what happens. And it's really sad. Really sad.
I'm telling you now, you need no men in your life. And look at this Pat McAfee thing we talked about. Somebody's got to get to that guy and say, you can't be doing this, dude. Somebody's got to get to Matthew Perry and say, hey, I don't feel right about providing you ketamine. I think because it was clearly a thing where, in my opinion, just based on what these indictments say, it was a thing where Matthew Perry was in a very bad space. He was in a very bad space. And I believe the morning of his death, he was playing pickleball and didn't feel well. So he went home and wound up dead in his pool, according to these indictments.
Yeah.
It's terrible, man. When you have everything that he has, it goes to show you the house, the cars, the money, they don't mean anything.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale without a doubt.
They don't mean anything. And it is the relationships in your life. And when people come to you and say, hey, you're in a bad place here, man. This ketamine thing is the wrong decision. This whatever thing is the wrong decision. If you don't listen to those people, you are damaging them and yourself. And we see this all the time with stars.
Morant.
With Ja Morant. With Whitney Houston. Go back to any of these stars, man. You see it all the time. Amy Winehouse.
Tiger
Woods. You look at all these people who wind up in places that They never want it to be, but they don't know how to get out of it. That's what sucks about all this. And it just, you have to have somebody in your life who will tell you the truth. And when they tell you something, you need to fucking listen. Because generally the people who will say, you know what, this person, because if you have a live-in personal assistant and this assistant is only doing what you tell him to do, man, you're in danger. You are in absolute danger. And I hate that this happens, and it will happen again. It's rough.
Yep,
man. Aaron Wilson, I've done ket recreationally once, and it's a weird drug. I don't know that I'd be talking about that publicly, my guy. I don't think that that's what I'd be doing.
Right.
You know, I just wouldn't. Now
it's
I'm
hard
also,
to relate, dude. I mean, it's hard to relate to the situation. I mean, you know, like like I said, he obviously he's got responsibility. The assistant's got responsibility, but I also think it's damn near impossible for, you know, us as people just living our lives to relate to where he would be at mentally.
Yeah.
You know, just think about the idea of having just being in a place where you felt like, hey, I need to hire an assistant to live with me and be there day to day to make sure that my days are good. Just think about that. Like that unto itself tells me that you feel a little bit out of control and you're looking for help.
Look at Shohei Ohtani.
Another great example.
I mean, that guy, it depends on what you believe, but come on.
I don't believe that Ohtani was 100% innocent of everything. I don't believe that.
That's my opinion too.
I don't believe that you just had no idea. I think that
no chance.
You were able to play that card and you were able to get away with whatever you may have been involved with, whatever your portion was. But I don't believe that. I think what happens to people, generally speaking, is like Ohtani's a good example. By all accounts, Ohtani's a great guy. I've never heard someone say, hey, this dude's an asshole. Nobody likes this guy. Like, by all accounts, his teammates love him. People love him. Like, great dude. Okay, cool. But when you think about the Ohtani situation, what's striking is, hey, this guy allegedly got ripped off. Ipe allegedly stole millions from his account.
Tens of millions.
You're telling me that Shohei Ohtani was cool with Ipe having access to his account like that? There's no way, dude. There is no way that Shohei Ohtani said, yes, this guy can have unfettered access to my account. I just will never buy that. And I think there's so much to that story that we don't know. And my main point is that I'm guessing the genesis of most of these dudes' problems, Ja Morant, is that, hey, you have the resource of money. Matthew Perry, Ja Morant, Tiger, Shohei Ohtani. You have that resource to you, but the problem is the people around you change once you have the money, but you're not going to change the people because those are the guys you grew up with.
Yeah.
And so you get in trouble.
I think it is, you've got to listen to people you trust in it. Again, did Matthew Perry trust his personal assistant that level? I don't know. I would think so. I would hope so. Guy lived in his house.
I mean, maybe that's the biggest downfall, right? Trust him too much.
You've got to surround yourself, and Mrs. Monty's my person. There's no doubt about that. You have to surround yourself with people who are like, hey, you can't be doing that. Okay, I need to stop doing that. And I don't care if it's addiction. Jake and I have talked about this. I don't care if it's addiction. I don't care if it's the people you're surrounding yourself with, girlfriends, money, decisions, whatever it might be. When somebody in your life that you trust says, hey, man, that's not the right thing to be doing, you need to listen to that. And too many times people don't. Who told Shohei Ohtani? And my opinion is that Shohei Ohtani had a hand in what Ime was, or whatever the fuck the guy's name, Ipe was doing. Shohei's married. What did his wife say? Shohei's got an agent. Did his agent not say anything?
You're telling me those two people in his life didn't know?
His money manager didn't say anything?
Come on.
That's hard to believe.
That's what I'm saying. It smells. It almost reeks of, hey, you know what? You were involved in this scheme that Ipe was running with Buddy in California, the bookie. And as soon as you saw Ipe going the wrong direction, which was probably way in the past, probably like a year in the past, you were like, hey, this is going the wrong direction. I need to distance myself from this. I don't like this situation. You did that.
But he's supposedly one of your closest friends, Ipe, to Shohei. You didn't intervene in your friend's life?
Oh, and now your friend's up on what, federal charges?
Go into the hole? Who was it? And you were around him every day? Come on. It's wild to me.
It's not great.
It's wild to me. All right, let's end the week talking about the race for the White House. I know you guys
Stay hard.
I know you guys love this.
Okay, now we wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't have something to talk about. And I feel like we've stayed away from it this week. We haven't talked a lot of politics. Everyone's like, oh, stick to sports, Marty.
Well, no, now in the comments section on YouTube, do you guys notice people are like, why aren't you talking about the election today? Why aren't you talking about X, Y, and Z? Why aren't you? I can't win for losing. Here are the rules when we talk politics. No insults. Your opinions are all welcome. But if you're going to say, hey, stick to sports, guy, you should probably leave now. If that's your opinion on politics, hey, stick to sports. Okay. Who are you, Laura Ingraham? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have an open, respectful exchange of ideas. Those are the rules when we talk politics. Today's a massive day for Kamala Harris. And again, I say that she has largely gotten a free pass.
Mm-hmm.
Today, though, Kamala Harris will make a speech where she will lay out her economic policies in North Carolina. And I think this right now, until next week, because don't forget the Democratic National Convention starts next week. This right now is the single biggest moment of Kamala Harris's political career, because she is going to lay out her economic plans for the first 100 days should we elect her president. And they are pointed directly at you.
Yes, they are.
They are pointed at millennials and Gen Z. To a lesser extent, Gen X. Certainly not boomers. And I think this is massive. Here are her policies that she is supposedly going to lay out in North Carolina. It is, and again, I want you guys to remember, this is her first time telling us what her policies are. And I've bitched about this on the show. I think it's long overdue. Not long overdue. She's about a week late on this. And what I would have liked for her to have done is do this speech but a week ago. I believe that if Kamala Harris wants to win this election, she should not be doing one-on-one interviews.
Mm-hmm.
She should not be doing town halls. What she should be doing is exactly what she's doing. Low risk, high reward. Rallies in full airplane hangars. Rallies in full arenas. Rallies. Exactly what she should be doing. But now we need to get into, okay, here's what we're going to do in the first 100 days. Here are what we are being told are her plans. First and foremost, in an effort to tackle stubbornly high grocery prices, Harris will work with Congress to advance the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on food and groceries. Now, the way that Donald Trump spun this yesterday, which, did you see his news conference yesterday? Donald Trump stood in front of a table full of groceries and never once pointed to them or talked about groceries. I bring that up because I think this is an important juxtaposition to Kamala Harris. Is she going to specifically talk about this? Well, I think she is. This will include setting clear, quote, rules of the road so that corporations, quote, can't unfairly exploit consumers to run up excessive corporate profits.
Now, what have we talked about with groceries specifically? Hey, eggs, milk, all the typical things that we always hear about. Basically, just that everything in the grocery store is more expensive than it should be. It's not that it's like, hey, it used to cost $1 and now it costs $1.50. It's like, hey, it used to cost $1 and now it costs $7. Like, it's more expensive than it really should be.
And again, I think this is really smart by Kamala because we all know that inflation is not a direct result of policymaking. If you've watched this show or and I know this is, I'm going to get crazy. If you've done any research into why inflation is high and what factors play into increasing inflation, it is painfully obvious that inflation in our country started with the pandemic. Oh, wait, I misspoke. Across the globe. Because inflation and food cost is not an American problem. It's a global problem. We know that when the supply chain stopped and ceased to operate during the pandemic, obviously there was going to be a push down to the consumer. Okay, no problem. But you look at McDonald's as a really interesting example. McDonald's costs are up on most of their core values 100%. Well, during the pandemic, you needed that. Their food cost now is at pre-pandemic levels. Have they dropped their menu prices? Only slightly. And what is McDonald's messaging? We're paying people more. We have more overhead. We have more cost. We're losing money. McDonald's made $8.5 billion last year. Do you understand that? Like, fast food's a really good example of this. $8.5 billion last year. And when you start looking at the fact that Yum Brands, who owns Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC, made $2 billion in profit last year.
Again, in profit.
In profit. McDonald's made $8.5 billion in profit last year. This is no longer, whoa, Joe Biden, that old fuck, his policies are broken. You can't point at Joe Biden and say he's the reason that food cost is so high. But if you listen to the party of Trump, and I think this has been, if you watch MSNBC, Fox News, ABC, CNN, this is what every Republican strategist is saying. He's got to tell the truth now. The guy who always uses disinformation has to stop talking about her body parts and start talking about the truth. He's got to stop saying that Joe Biden's responsible for inflation. Why is that? Because he's throwing softballs to Kamala Harris. He's throwing softballs to Kamala Harris. And when you look at inflation, inflation has been a global problem. So she's talking directly about food prices, and she's talking about putting in stops to force food providers, fast food, General Mills, cereal makers, they have to justify their price points now. And she is going to empower the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and state attorneys general. So not only is she going to give the power to the federal overseers at the FTC, she's saying to the states, you have the right to prosecute these corporations at the state level to force them to bring their prices in line. It's exactly what consumers want to hear. Here's this candidate who's attacking big corporate America, who is unnecessarily raising prices. That's, to me, that's what's so impressive about it. That's what's, when you look at food across the board, and you look at the CPIs, and you look at how food cost, fast food, groceries, everything across the board that is edible in this country, ag, all of it. Food cost is so incredibly high because of corporate greed. It's, and this idea, I like J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. I'm certain they're nice people. The argument they're making that Kamala Harris is going to force us to import our eggs. Where do you think we get eggs from? Do you guys really think that we import eggs from China? J.D. Vance the other day intimated that Kamala Harris under her administration would import eggs from China. What the flying flip are you talking about? And let me ask you something. Again, and this is the common sense part. If you're talking about loaves of bread and eggs, and that we're going to import those things from China, because their point is, and JD Vance's point was, this is how she's going to lower prices. Do you think importing eggs from China will make them less expensive? No, it would not make it less expensive. Are you out of your mind? This goes back to the gasoline electric car thing. Well, she's going to force us to all pay $10 for a gallon of gas because of these electric cars. Okay, so again, as I said yesterday, every American gets an EV. What happens to the cost of gas? Oh, well, Monty, it's going to sky. Oh, no, well, it's going to go down because demand will be down, which is my point.
And I think the hard part is, like, again, and I say this every single time, every single day we talk politics, like, it's not that, we're pro Kamala or anti-Trump or vice versa. I'm just looking at the strategies that these two campaigns are employing. And I never thought I would say this about the Trump campaign, but and maybe it's not even all the campaign people telling Donnie to do it, but he is doing it. Where you're right, he's giving her every opportunity to basically just like shine this massive light on these issues.
Yes.
And again, this grocery thing is one angle. She's got a whole thing on, affordable housing that she's allegedly going to roll out. And, I just look at this and I say, hey man, like, it's not early in this campaign cycle anymore. Like, it's the middle of August. Like, you've got September and October, and then we're all going to get down to business in November. And I would agree that Kamala Harris needs to prove that she can articulate and speak her policy into existence, if you will. She needs to show that she can explain it and that she understands it, and that and that she has a front, like a cover to cover, grasp on her policy, if you will. And so she needs to do that. And then she needs to prove that she can actually debate in a controlled fashion where she doesn't look like an idiot. And if she does those two things, in September and with this speech, I don't know what the answer is for the Trump campaign, other than
it's going to be tough.
And I only say it's going to be tough because you look at who Donnie is speaking to, and I'm a firm believer that his strategy right now is to basically say, okay, what is she saying? Okay, it could be the color of the sky, whatever comes out of her mouth. We're just going to take what she says. We're going to criticize it. And then not only are we going to criticize that, we're going to criticize her personally. And then that's going to be our strategy. And like I said the other day, the unfortunate part of that, and the reason I don't think that works great right now, is because the access to the internet has gone way up.
Yes.
So I've got this little device in my hand known as an iPhone or an Android, and I can do a simple Google search and try to understand, hey, like, how does the president affect gas prices, and what even is the strategic oil reserve?
Well, it's interesting. The gas price thing is very interesting because we see an increase in gas prices because of Donald Trump's deal with OPEC, where he made a deal with them so that they would lower output and raise output and lower. He makes deals with OPEC, but the problem is OPEC wants the United States to buy their oil. So what did Donald Trump do? He made a deal with OPEC to raise output, which would drive down the price of oil, which would drive down the price of gas. When he lost the election, he made another deal with OPEC to cut production, to cut demand, to cut supply, which would raise gas prices. Here's the only problem, though. He made that deal with OPEC and said, we'll buy oil from you. But then what did he immediately do? Well, the campaign cycle was coming around, so he wanted to go back after Iran and try to, hey, I'm the global political guy. I'm going to control Iran. So he made a deal to buy Iranian oil. So what did OPEC do? Well, he stabbed OPEC in the back, so they slashed production,
which in turn
raised gas prices.
Nice.
But what is Donald Trump saying? How am I going to control inflation? Drill, baby, drill. Nobody's drilled more than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is pushing almost 14 million barrels a day. Do you guys understand that?
Was it 13.8, I think it is?
13.8 million barrels of oil a day right now. Do you guys understand that we are actually energy positive? For the first time in decades, we are energy positive, which means we're selling more than we're buying. And that's because we're drilling 13.8 million barrels a day.
So if you think about it, if Donnie is saying, hey, we got to drill, baby, drill, and that's how we're going to fix this, the person who is not already a Donald Trump supporter, which is the person Trump needs to try to win right now with where we're at in the election cycle, because that's all this is, right? If you're Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, all you're trying to do is win the votes of people who are undecided at this point, which I think there are tons of people, millions of people who at this point are undecided about who they want to vote for. And I think you're never going to hear from these people. You don't know their existence. You have no idea they're alive, but they watch you on the news every day. They try to stay informed. So if you think about it, if Donald Trump says drill, baby, drill, and I'm going to basically work the strategy you just explained, and someone who's uninformed about that goes and does their homework and says, well, are we actually drilling right now? Or like, what are we doing now? Is like, are we drilling? And they're going to pull up the fact that the report came out yesterday that said, yeah, inflation's under 3% now. And we're drilling 13.8 million barrels a day. We're creating 13.8 million barrels a day.
Correct.
What is that going to do to the sentiment of that voter? That is what I'm worried about for the Trump campaign. You're saying something that to your base is accurate because your base just takes what you say and accepts it as fact. But to that person that you need to vote for you who's undecided, all they have to do is go and take 2 minutes and do a search on Google for what's happening, what's actually happening. And they're going to realize, hey, yeah, you know what? We are actually drilling and that's not true. And that is the biggest issue. And that to me is why this Harris speech today, to your point, is the biggest moment of her political career.
Yes.
Because if she can give a strong speech and she can come off polished and she can come off clean, that's going to be a big win for her. But again, just the same way it'd be a big win if she messes this speech up and she comes off, looking uneducated about something, let's say.
She's in trouble.
She's in big trouble.
Wet Blanket says price control equals anti-capitalism. Who's talking about price control? What do you mean price control?
What do you mean? Is that a reference to food cost? Is that
she's not talking about price control? If that's what you're, I see what we're doing now. Gas prices are because Biden's anti-American energy policy. Yeah, never mind that he's selling more oil than he's buying, and he's drilling more oil than anybody else, and he's creating more natural gas than anybody else.
Look at the comment. Like this is precisely what I'm talking about. Look at the end of the comment. Under Trump, America was energy independent. So
it wasn't.
Right.
His last year in office.
But what I'm trying to say here with this comment is Wet Blanket, and I'm not criticizing you, I'm just taking your comment at face value. You're clearly someone who is a Trump supporter. You're someone who takes what he says at face value. Saying that America was energy independent under Trump is just not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. And so again, for someone who doesn't know or maybe isn't fully educated, they're going to go and look. Just like I have the ability to look or you have the ability to look, but you refuse to look and we do. So we know, hey, yeah, we're actually energy positive right now. We're selling more than we're buying. We're actually, for the first time, making progress on it. So unfortunately, bro, I can't agree with your comment with all due respect. Now, go and vote for the guy. Do what you do. But I'm just telling you, you're making that decision on bad information. And if you're fine with that, then that's fine. That's your opinion. That's like you're right. But I'm not going to vote for someone based on bad information. That's not happening.
And I think what's very interesting is this next comment by Wet Blanket is just completely false. And this is what we have to stop doing. Biden used all of the strategic oil reserves by the middle of his term. Okay, well, let's get a couple of things straight here. The strategic oil reserve has mandatory sales initiatives mandated by law, signed by anybody? Donald Trump. So let's look at the strategic oil reserve. Okay, so actually, the strategic oil reserves are not empty. This is completely false. 100% bullshit.
Hmm?
When did those strategic oil reserves start going down? Well, 2017, 2018, 2019. Back up a little bit in 2020. Who was president then? Oh, Donald Trump was. And why are strategic oil reserve levels lower? Because Donald Trump signed legislation to sell strategic oil reserves to pay off national debt because of anybody? His new tax code. So, wet blanket, look, man, you're entitled to your opinion. Just be educated because you're completely 100% incorrect about that. Completely wrong. Completely wrong. And he used the reserves right before midterm elections to lower. No, he did not. He doesn't have a choice. He has to sell off the reserve, part of the reserve. Joe Biden didn't lower gas prices, my guy, by selling off the reserve. Do you understand? Do you understand how Joe Biden lowered the price of gas? Do you understand that, or probably not?
Yeah,
he
probably
did
not.
that. He did that by drilling. When your boy keeps saying, "Hey, we're going to drill," he is doing. Do you know why he's drilling? He's drilling to create more supply domestically because it costs less to drill your own oil than to buy it from OPEC.
Because what are you doing when you buy it from OPEC? You're paying a premium. Hey, OPEC's going to cover their cost, obviously, and then they're going to make profit on you. So not only is it a bad look to be buying oil from the Middle East, if you're the U.S., it's also extremely expensive.
I don't think people understand how much oil Joe Biden is drilling right now.
Well, and
which is what is so funny.
Part of it too is I legitimately believe that folks like Wet Blanket don't want it to be true.
I would agree with that.
You're not willing to say, "Oh, well, I thought this, but it turns out the numbers that are publicly available just came out in the report yesterday. Not our opinion; they're the numbers." So
13.8 million barrels a day,
which is a U.S. record. There's no disputing it, bro. So,
yeah, they're facts and they are undisputed.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
It is, to me, it when you don't understand that 13.8 million barrels a day, finally being energy independent with oil and producing natural gas. Do you guys like it? Doesn't matter. Let's get back to what her policy is, because I think it's really important. This housing policy is massive. Because one of the things about inflation that I think a lot of people don't understand as well, like you look at global inflation. Here's global inflation by year. You look at 2020 when inflation was, you look at the prices charged for foods and goods in 2020. Well, obviously, you're going to, with the pandemic, change things. But now you look at inflation. What did that do when prices cratered? Well, it meant that you're going to skyrocket things because of the supply chain. These are all the different countries, you guys. So the United States is in a global inflation climb through 2022. Does anybody not see that it was global? It's not just the United States.
But look at the fact that our inflation, yeah, we had high inflation, but look at all the other lines. It's a clear trend, man.
Yes. Yeah, and you look at China. China's going through it. And I think one of the hard parts about when you hear about like gas prices is interesting, which is why, again, today I think is so important. Donald Trump is talking about how in his first 12 months, he will cut gas prices. They're currently at $3.40. He says he will cut gas prices in half at least to $1.70. Do you understand how catastrophic and damaging that would be to our economy and the oil industry? We lost so many oil and gas jobs that are never coming back during Trump's term. And a lot of it was pandemic related. But you look at the idea that we would be paying $1.72 for gas. What would that do to global oil demand? Would just skyrocket. So do you think they're going to stay at $1.72? No, they're not. So anyway, my point is, that's why Kamala Harris talking about, hey, we're going to control price gouging. That's what you meant by price cap. That's her policy has nothing to do with limiting price cap. It is not. I think it's very interesting to me. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about her housing policy, because I think this is
the more important one.
This is the home run. It's got to go over well. Her plan would help cap-strapped renters by blocking data firms from hiking lease rates. So right now, the way that lease rates work is it's an algorithm. And she's essentially saying, hey, we're going to put an end to that. She also is going to, in her plan, she is going to announce a plan for Wall Street investors to be prevented from buying homes in bulk, to resell at premium rate and using hedge funds to own those homes to rent out to people, which is why our rentals are so crazy. She also will call for U.S. to construct 3 million new housing units over the next 4 years to facilitate what she will call for a new tax incentive on starter homes. She is going to incentivize home builders to build starter homes, smaller, more affordable homes, so that people can afford to buy homes. Because what is the number one thing by most economists' estimation that is dragging down the economy at this moment? The lack of movement in the real estate market on a one-off contract, a residential purchase contract. You go buy a house, live in it for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's what's not happening right now. So she is attacking that. And who is she really talking to? She's talking to millennials. Because millennials now want that 1% to 2% mortgage rate that was given during the pandemic that's never coming back. Never is it coming back. But what they also need is a $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 maximum dollar home where they can afford to pay $2,500 in a mortgage. That's what millennials need.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't currently have that. If she builds 3 million new housing units in 4 years, and they are starter homes, and she gives the builder of those homes tax incentives to cap the cost of those houses to the consumer, you are instantly going to see a bump in the real estate market, which is going to do what to mortgage rates? It's going to bring mortgage rates back down.
Oh, it's going to help the rental market too.
Correct. And it's going to bring rents back down.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring us back to that conversation of, hey, it's more economically savvy to buy a home than to rent a home. Because right now
it's not.
You're renting. You are not buying, you are renting, especially if you're a millennial.
Yeah.
And the other thing that this does is it reignites the American dream, which is a home with a picket fence, 2.5 kids, and a dog.
College, get married, buy a house.
Millennials are not having kids because they're not getting married and they're not buying homes. So,
yeah,
I think smart. I think that is really smart.
The idea,
really, really smart.
The idea and the policy, I love it. I agree with it. I think that that's smart economics. Here's the problem, though. You got to deliver that today in the speech. So, like, it's great if you have this idea sitting in your back pocket, but if you can't articulate it into the world and really, it's not even just being able to explain it. It's how it comes off. You got to have confidence in it. You got to have, you got to make it clear that you understand, hey, okay, if we do X, it's going to have Y impact on the economy. And that impact is pointed right at you millennials and by extension, Gen Z. And if she can do that, it's going to be huge. But I'm telling you, it's high risk, high reward.
Because this will be, and this is very much inflation, economy, immigration, I think, is a big part of this. This is going to be her first time that she will take a step away from Joe Biden. Whether she directly says that or not, this will be the first time that she will put policies on the board that Joe Biden has not put on the board. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes over with voters and what this does to her polling, because it's a really smart strategy if she executes. If she executes this speech and she delivers this policy, it's going to give her probably another 2-point bump over the weekend in polling, which what happens once the weekend's over? We're at the Democratic National Convention now.
Right.
And you look at, one of the things we've talked about is the momentum that the Democrats have right now. This Elon Musk, Donald Trump thing the other night where they talked about firing workers who are trying to unionize.
Elon is the great union buster.
Ooh. The Teamsters, UAW, the teachers union, the medical unions all came out, and hardcore. And I'll remind you that the president of the Teamsters spoke at the Republican National Convention, and they are now firmly behind Kamala Harris.
Which I remember talking about. We were a little bit surprised by.
Yeah, because jobs and labor has routinely been one of Donald Trump's Achilles heels. He has not been the job creator. He was net negative in jobs during his administration. And he never created manufacturing jobs, blue collar jobs, like ground level jobs. Biden put in the infrastructure bill, which was a massive boom to job creation because it's labor jobs, it's construction jobs, it's all of those things that Americans need to pay their bills. Joe Biden created all of these jobs, but he also did a terrible job pulling out of Afghanistan. The border is absolutely an anvil around their neck. There's no question about it. Failed immigration policy. That's what Donald Trump has to talk about. But she's just not going to talk about that. She is talking about ways to put money back in American pockets, put millennials into home ownership, put millennials into better jobs. There's things that Joe Biden has absolutely done well. Wages are up, jobs are up, consumer spending this week, shocking. Again, I don't see this recession everybody's talking about. Americans are spending money. They're making money. They're employed. They're spending money.
You just can't look at it the same way we've always looked at it. We're
not
not
anymore.
We're not in a
Not
recession.
anymore.
Like people have jobs. They have money to spend. And this is the point I'm trying to hammer home. People aren't stupid. They're not going to spend their money on a mortgage that's 8%. And all the old heads want to say, well, Monty and Jake and Two Holes, interest rates used to be 20%. Why wouldn't you do 8%? Well, because I don't care that it used to be 20%.
It doesn't matter.
I want 5%. Like I disagree that people want the what you were able to get during COVID. I think that people understand, hey, you know what? That was a really unique time, and you're never going to get 2.9 again. But what we're not going to do is 8%, 7%. What I think you will see is loads of people will do. I would do 5%. Certainly. I would do 5%. I'd even consider 6%, but I'm not doing 7+. I'm not paying, again, it's deal to deal, house to house. Obviously they're all different, but I'm not paying $800,000 for a $400,000 house when it's all said and done. I'm not doing that. And I don't think anybody in their right mind's doing that. And so I think that's why you see consumer spending's high, new home sales are low. People are smart. They're not going to make a bad investment.
And I think if she keeps talking to the unions, and I know this is very divisive, I'm a very pro-union person. I believe in the unions. I think unions built this country.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a union. I grew up in a union family. I believe in it. And I think if you look at what she's talking about, the labor unions in this country, building homes and building millions of homes, that speaks right to the labor unions. You talk about her support and what the Biden administration has done, because UAW, why is UAW on the side of the Biden administration? Because they're creating energy jobs. They are, I think the Biden administration is doing several things very well. for UAW and for auto workers in the auto industry. They're creating opportunities for EVs to continue to grow, but yet they're pumping a ton of oil. And I think that's helping lower gas prices. Well, what do lower gas prices do? They bring people back to the car lots.
Yep.
And when you have lower gas prices and you start selling more cars, well, now I think it's undoubtedly we're getting a rate cut in September. It'd be shocking if we didn't. Well, what's going to happen when we get a rate cut? Well, people's car payments are going to be lower. So what are we going to do? We're going to sell more cars. We're going to sell more houses. Like,
it's good for the system.
She's taking advantage of the positives that she is going to use to whitewash the negativity around the border, in my opinion, and her foreign policy. It's really smart campaigning. Her ground war is winning. And now Donald Trump, anybody notice Donald Trump at this news conference yesterday? Did you notice what he didn't have? He didn't have a teleprompter. What did he have? He had a notebook in front of him where he was flipping through talking points until he wasn't. And then the thing that everybody picked up on, like the first thing I heard on Fox News last night. Flip on Fox News. What's the first thing they're talking about? Oh, he says he has every right to insult her and be insulting. And what's the first thing Fox News said? Do you have that clip?
Yeah.
The first thing that Fox News said last night was,
we have him saying he deserves to insult her.
Yeah. Here's Donald Trump talking about
I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence.
That's a huge... There's a Fox News clip. We don't have it, but there's a Fox News clip because we can't play it, where they're talking about you're not entitled to insult Kamala Harris as a woman. And that was the 40-minute discussion on Fox last night. It's okay if you want to go after her on Afghanistan. It's okay if you want to go after her on the border. Do it. Stop saying that you're going to drill, because you're getting out drilled. Stop saying that she's a woman and she's crazy and she's stupid and she's low IQ. Fox News last night said, are you low IQ if you're a prosecutor, a state attorney's general, and the vice president of the United States after you were elected a senator? Like, stop saying she's stupid. Calling her stupid, women view that as you don't like women. Saying she's crazy is viewed as misogynistic, mainly because you have a track record of it.
It's a weak. It makes. This is my problem, man. I don't even disagree with like everything Trump says, right? Like, I do think
not
there
at
are
all
some things that he says that are spot on. Couldn't agree more with. But I can't believe that the party of Trump's best strategy, and again, I don't know if it's his campaign or if it's just him himself, but either way, the best strategy you're employing right now is just insulting her on a personal level. That's what I don't understand. You're supposed to be allegedly this great businessman, this guy that can see a situation and say, okay, this is what we want to get out of this election. How do we go and do that? Well, Don, you talk about policy and you talk about Afghanistan and the border, and you talk about the fact that they're not handling this right or that right. But what does he want to do? He wants to call her stupid, low IQ, crazy, and that's what I don't get.
And talking about how inflation is the Democrats' fault and Joe Biden's fault, and gas prices and food prices.
How bad of a strategy is it to yesterday give that speech and then have the report come out that says, yeah, we're drilling at a record rate, inflation's under 3%. You're talking about Fox News, bro.
Fox News yesterday. Did you guys see on Fox? He's giving this news conference. The economy is terrible. If Kamala Harris is elected, we will see an economy that is, he said something like, it's going to be Depression era and worse. And the stock market will lose 50%. And the stock market on the Fox News ticker breaks an all-time high.
Come on, man.
And what did Fox News do? They pulled the ticker down.
Come on, bro.
Like, he's got to talk about Afghanistan, foreign policy, and the border.
Watch the speech today. I don't care if you're a MAGA person, Trump supporter, you need to watch this speech from a political standpoint. And whether you disagree or not, I'm not saying to lap it up and she's the best. What I'm saying is you need to watch this speech and you're listening for her to make mistakes. You're listening for her to hesitate. You're listening for her to not deliver the message in a confident and strong way. That's what's on the line here in this speech.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's going to be a really important day. And I think we'll get a real pulse of where we are in this election cycle after she gives it, because we'll see what do Dow futures do when she's done talking.
Mm-hmm.
What does the polling tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon that's going to come out? What is it if she gets another 2.5? I mean, the bounce in a poll after a big speech like that can be as much as 5, but my guess it'll be 2.5 to 3 points.
Well, because the national poll I saw this week said that they were essentially tied nationally, that it was like 50-49. Like you're within the margin of error. You're essentially tied.
But she's leading in most battleground states now, which
right.
is a huge problem.
Right.
So if she picks up 2 points, let's just call it 2 points. Let's go low. Call it 2 points. If she picks up 2 more points, he's in real trouble because he doesn't have a stump speech. He doesn't want to do rallies anymore. His staff doesn't want him doing rallies anymore because he can't stay on script. So he's doing these news conferences, which is really smart in my opinion, but he's got to stay on script.
Yeah.
And he's not. So if she gets 2.5 more points, he's in trouble. Because if she gets 2 points over the weekend, then goes to the convention. If this speech today goes well, her convention speech will be a home run. And she comes out of that with a 7-point bump. Because your convention, look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump picked up 7 more points in his convention.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe pulled out and he lost 10 points now. 10, 11 and a half now. So I think it's very interesting.
There's loads on the line with this.
This is a massive 48 hours in the election cycle.
Watch the speech.
Yeah.
Watch it.
All right. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Have a great, safe weekend. But if the worst happens, if you get in a motorcycle accident, you get hit by a truck, those semi-trucks on our roads are terrible. If you get hurt at work, please be ready, be prepared. Put the Advocates phone number in your phone right now or get online, theadvocates.com. Chat with an injury attorney 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.